Austin, it's great to see you. Just had a chance to see the movie, and I think the world is about to see you become the most iconic human being that we've looked at. When you got that role, I know, like when you get the role of playing the Elvis Presley, did you rehearse more in the mirror the moves or the sneer? Because both are perfect.
Oh wow, thank you. Probably the physical performances. You know, we were just talking about. It's so surreal being here, surrounded by all these images of him, and just getting to be back here is so special. It was probably just watching because there's so much footage. And so somebody just asked me how many times I've seen 68 Special. I can't even tell you. Like, I just watched everything. But the thing is, there's so much footage, so you got to kind of cycle through. So I'd spend a week obsessing about 68, and then I'd go into something from the 50s, and then something from set 1970. I'd watch That's the Way It Is a million times. And so I just, constantly cycling through.
Now all I see is Nick Foles, and I see... You have to look up Nick Foles and then be like, fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so the internet always tells the truth, clearly,
Yeah,
right? Always.
Yeah.
And so...
Never lie.
Ever lie. It is Bible. And so there was a lot of reports that you did so much training for his special gyration dance move that you had to go to physical therapy because you threw out your back. Is that true?
It wasn't my back. It was
half true.
Yeah. There was moments. There was honestly, it was like during Trouble that performance. We did it so many times, and your adrenaline's pumping so much.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know, but I hurt my knee that time.
Okay.
Just because it's like when the police come in and they grab me and they're pulling me. I was fighting them quite a lot. So it was actually that messed up my knee a bit. I just tweaked it or something like that. So, and then we had a performance that I had to do shortly after. So I did physical therapy on my knee. And then my shoulder, in the 70s, there was something where I ended up hurting my shoulder. So it's those two things.
See, it really, physical. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, a little bit.
Speaking of the music, I guess, when did you begin like the training of your voice to sound like him singing? And was there a first song that you were like, I nailed it?
Oh, wow. As far as when I started, it was as soon as I heard Baz was making the movie.
Okay.
So I put everything else on hold, and it's all I did. And then I think, the first song that I sang that clicked me into to how I wanted to approach it was Unchained Melody.
Okay.
Which then I didn't even know at the time that's the last song that I sing in the film. So.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have to be honest and say when I watched the movie, I got out of there and I was like, oh yeah.
That's good.
Stop moving. I loved it.
So we got dancing, we got crying. Yeah.
So you stirred all kinds of emotions. You were amazing. And I want to ask you two quick things. What was your favorite part of the movie? And did you get to keep anything from the movie or even Elvis?
Yeah, I kept one of the leather jumpsuits, one of the leather from 68. Yeah. I kept one of the white jumpsuits. I also, my most prized possessions now is when I rapped, Baz gave me the back of the Unchained Melody jumpsuit framed. Oh. So I have that on my wall, and that's really, really special. Because it goes back to that very first audition tape that I sent him. And then as far as, what was the other question?
Your favorite part of the movie.
Favorite part. I think it was getting to work with Baz and collaborate with him. We had just the greatest time with Tom, with Olivia, with the whole group of people that I was with. They were just amazing. But spending 2 years doing nothing else but learning about Elvis and obsessing about him and just really getting to live with him for that amount of time was the greatest time of my life. It was so fun. Yeah.
So you mentioned getting to know him and understanding that. Doing a role like this obviously had to be something you were nervous about because everybody has their opinion of Elvis.
Yeah.
But is this something you had to become basically Elvis Presley 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
It's such a heavy responsibility that I always had that fear that I was going to feel like an imposter. and the feeling of living everyday life and then suddenly having to go, okay, now you're playing Elvis. And it's such it really messes with your mind. So for me, the way that I had to approach it for my own sense of ownership in a way was, I got to figure out how he does all the daily things, because you got to feel his humanity from the ground up. So it was basically 2 years of me just living it and breathing it, and like, how does Elvis order coffee? How does he brush his teeth? Like all those little things, because then it makes him human to me. And once I'm feeling like I'm looking out of his eyes, then it helped me to not feel like I was an imposter trying to pretend to be somebody else. It was just like the feelings from the inside, I guess. Yeah.
So you mentioned obviously spending a lot of time researching Elvis. I did the same. I didn't grow up listening to Elvis. My family didn't grow up listening
Where
to
are
Elvis.
you from?
I'm from West Texas.
Okay.
And from the South, in a very segregated part of the country. And so that's where my next question really comes from. I'm Mexican-American, and I know Elvis is an icon, but he's also complicated and quite controversial. Was there any part of you that had qualms playing the role and making sure that you represented Elvis as good as you can? I mean, you were incredible, but like I said, complicated and controversial as well.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I think that's the thing about every human. We all have the good, the bad, and the ugly of every single one of us, you know? And humans are so complicated in every way. And one of the aspects that I'm so glad that you really cannot tell his story without the fact that we don't have Elvis without black music. And so, and black culture. And so getting to see that in the film and putting his story into context, I think is one of the beautiful things that people will be able to get from this film is
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Did that make you feel, was that important to you? That
Absolutely.
that part of the story was
giving
told from the
credit
beginning?
where credit is due, and also shining a light on what he loved. The impact that going to a gospel church had on him at a very young age is something that I didn't know when I first started approaching this. And I think a lot of people don't really fully know that. That's where he got his style from, going down to Beale Street. And
Well, some of us knew.
some of us knew, yeah, but a lot of people don't. And so for those really, really deep Elvis fans, they'll know those things. And then, but getting to see the love that he had, I think is really, that was something that was really eye-opening to me and really inspiring for me.
You did a wonderful job. All of us here said that at the end of the film we were confused as to which was the real Elvis and
Oh,
you.
wow.
So congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
That was consistent. Like everyone was like, it was hard to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Impressive.
Thank you.
It was.
Going back to what you were saying about the music really quick, I know they're going to yell at us to rap, but when you were like, what was a really cool moment is that when I found out we were coming to this junket, I work in country radio, and my boss was like, well, you know, Elvis got so much of his inspiration from Little Richard. And then that was such a huge part. And I was like, oh, and I'm like texting him, like, this is part of the movie.
You see the physicality,
Yeah.
you see the
Yeah.
vocal mannerisms, everything.
So I was like that. He's mentioned it before I saw the movie, and then when I saw it, he was like, that whole scene was incredible, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is wonderful.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, so luckily he slides.
He knows.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Thank you.
It's a wrap.
Thank you so much, guys. Is that it?
We're gonna do pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. They were like one question. I'm like, we're radio people. Talk all day.
Yeah, geez.
A conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you happy with the way the film turned out?
Yeah. I was so nervous because the whole time, Baz and I, we had many conversations during the time that we were working on it where he said, you know, we never know what the outcome of any film is going to be, but we can revel in the process. And so most of the time it was just that. It was you have the nerves of going, someday people are going to watch this and they're going to look at that, or they're going to hear my voice and they're going to judge that, and they're going to and there's going to be the questions of you know, if there's a moment that doesn't feel truthful, it's gonna shine, and in a negative way. And so that was my fear every day, was just how do you make this as truthful and full of life as possible? So that was the thing the whole time. And then suddenly there's this moment where I'm gonna watch the movie, and the first time was in Cannes. And I sat down in that theater, and I just was going, oh my God, I don't know.
That was your first time? Just a couple
yeah.
weeks ago?
I waited. And
Wow.
then the movie came on, and it was partway through Act One where I just felt this huge sigh. And I was so proud of what everybody had done and what Baz had done with the editing of the film. And because I didn't, you film so many different variations
Yeah.
and scenes.
You don't know how it's going to be
There's
strung
4
together.
different cameras going at any one point, so I don't know what. Yeah, and you look down and you see Priscilla, and it was just like, I got to pinch myself. It's amazing.
Find yourself like doing some of the mannerisms or talking like.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's that thing where there's pieces that, and I know now I will slip in if I'm nervous, because he was also nervous before he walked out on stage, but once he was out there, there was so much confidence, and so I felt that when I would feel the nerves, and then I'd go out there and I'd feel the rapport with the audience and stuff, and so now I know that there's bits of me when I'm shy or when I'm nervous that will just click in, where it's almost like he comes with me. You know?
Yeah.
Alter ego kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
You're like, I feel it.